I've had a few people ask me recently about how I approach and build my high gain patches for the Matribox 2. If you're not sure what the Matribox 2 is, it's from Sonicake and it's quite an underrated amp modeler, but it's really good and it's really good value for money. So what I want to do today is take you through how I approach and build a high gain kind of patch from scratch. So let's begin. So first of all, we'll turn on the Sonicake Matribox 2, and I find the easiest way to do this is to use the Matribox 2 software. So I've connected the Matribox to the MacBook via a USB-C cable, which is so much better than the older kinds that look like HX Stump use. So once it loads up, you'll get a screen that kind of looks like this, and then go to a fresh patch with nothing on it. So I'm going to choose this one here, and what I like to do is start with just any kind of high gain head, say like the Ecstasy Red, and we'll pick some kind of 4x12. So it's green backloaded 4x12, so you turn them on. Make sure the cab's turned on because it won't sound good. It'll sound horrible. So once the cab's turned on, sounds good already. So what I generally do is, on the amp, is back the gain down and put something like a tube screamer in front of it. And with the tube screamer, I'll pull the gain all the way back, turn the volume all the way up, and keep the tone maybe about halfway. And that tightens up the front ends a bit, gives it a little bit of a push, but it doesn't sort of go over the top too much with gain. Already sounds pretty good. You hear a lot of noise going on there, so as it's a high gain patch, I'll generally always turn the noise gate on. And then just drag the threshold up to work out where it sort of kicks in. Just go slightly around there, maybe up slightly. Let's just audition a few more cabs. So that's a greenback loaded 412. These are 75 watt speakers. I usually have quite good luck with let's say the Uber cab. With the Uber cab, it's so it's a Bogner. I think it's an oversized, or maybe not oversized actually, 4x12, but it's got the vintage 30s and the 75 watts in a X pattern. Definitely want to check out the rectifier cab because they're usually some of the best. Actually quite a dark sounding model on that one, so try the Uber shell. Got a real thing for fizz on these high gain models, and I'm constantly trying to dial it out, so maybe that rectifier was the way to go. Let's just listen to that Marshall one again, the greenbacks. I really like greenbacks. There's another cab down here that looked like some kind of California 4x12, so I'm guessing it's some kind of rectifier 412 as well. Again, it's quite dark. I want to try changing the amp to maybe something a little bit brighter. Try this Engel. Don't like that. Don't like that one bit. The diesel BH4. It's better than the angle, but I'm still not that into it. Dual rectifier, let's try that. It's a bit much, the low end. I'm trying to do as minimum kind of EQ as possible. Try the Soldano. Yeah, I like that. I think that was changing the cabs as we were doing it. So let's go back to the... See what that sounds like with the rectifier cab. Try putting the gain back a little bit. A bit more treble. Slight scoop in the mids, because, you know, metal. Try going back to that greenback cab. So what I like to do on all the cabs or impulse responses is add a low cut, generally sort of around 100 hertz, and high cut. Sometimes I take it all the way down to like kind of 6 or 7K, but so you can hear it's not really doing anything in these higher. So around there, maybe about 7.5K. Then, so say I'm just happy with that for the moment. On all my live or patches, I always add a chorus. And what I'll do is I'll have the volume or the mix really low. And the rate very low as well. And the depth kind of up there a little bit. And what I find that does is it just gives a little bit of movement to the sound, especially if you're in a 3-piece. It can kind of really add like a bit of the width and add that bit of movement, just keeps it a bit more interesting live. I don't know how this is going to sound. Helps if it's turned on. Obviously way too much. That's again too much, so. This is a bit of a weird one. I'm not sure if I would use chorus with this. And I'll generally always have a delay on to kind of, again, thicken up the sound live and just to add a little bit. But what I do, the trick I find is that if you're going for a high gain kind of sound, it's really easy to get really sort of mushy. So what I do is pick a kind of delay that's got something like this tone control. Equally so, if you've got like a treble control and a bass control, you can do this. And what I do is, so this one's got a mod that can go all the way down because I've already got a bit of chorus on. What you do is pull the tone back a little bit, so say like, I don't know, 40%. And that just rolls off the high end enough that you can have the delay volume a little bit louder, but the delay won't get in the way of your playing. So this is quite high. This is like 20%, so this should be way too much. But because I've pulled it back a little bit, hopefully it won't be. And I always have it about 450 milliseconds, 400 milliseconds. But yeah, this should be way too much delay, but hopefully it won't be. There's a lot of delay. I'll turn the feedback way down. But because we had the tone pulled back a little bit, it was a lot of delay, but it wasn't as much as, it wasn't as overbearing as it would be if the tone was up. So I'd pull back the mix a little bit, say like there. The tone was fine, and the feedback. So it's quite a loud delay still, but again, I'll play it and it shouldn't get in the way. See, it didn't get in the way, but it just added a little bit of thickness in the background, a little bit of ambience, and again with chords as well. Just enough there to fatten it up a little bit, but not get in the way. I'd probably turn the chorus off because I'm not happy with that, and I don't want to spend all day on getting a decent chorus sound. But I like the amp model. This is the Soldano SLO 100, the overdrive channel. What I like about it is there's a lot of there's enough treble there, but not a huge amount of fizz. So I think that something like this would work really well in a live mix if you sent this out to a PA. But even better if it was in tune. I'm going to try it on a different amp, so I did like this Bogner. So I think the noise gate needs to come up a little bit. I actually really like the Soldano cab, so what I might do is keep the Soldano cab low cut to about 100-ish, pull that down to say there. Pull the mix down a little bit more. We'll feed back down a little bit. So I'm happy with that. I think it's a really good starting point. I'd go in and tweak it more, but you know, I don't want to keep you there all day. I just wanted to show you the process of going through and picking the sounds and that kind of thing, because it can seem a bit overwhelming when you first look at this. There's a lot of options, and you've got to do things like, you know, remember to, it seems really silly, but remember to turn things on and off. And when you change the amp, the cab always changes as well, so that's a bit of an annoying kind of thing, and I always forget that, so I start tweaking and I want to go back and then change the cab. But just keep that in mind. I'd usually use a reverb, maybe, depending on the patch, but again, just a small amount, because this isn't a lead sound, this is just a rhythm kind of sound. But if you want to see me come up with some kind of lead sounds where I'll go a bit more into the modulation and the reverbs and that kind of thing, and let me know, and I'll make that for you. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. I hope it doesn't seem too complicated. I know diving into menus and that kind of thing, nobody really enjoys doing that, but hopefully I've made it seem a little bit more straightforward for you anyway. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.